Hello and welcome to the Monroe Method Clancast. I'm Jason Monroe. This is episode 107. Thank you very much to the people who gave me some feedback on these episodes. It completely, especially Tamara yesterday, when I did a check-in, it completely put my mind at ease about the quality of these. I'm a quality guy. Like when I record videos, if you follow me on Instagram and you see any of my stuff, I always have the cool light set up, pink and blue either side, add a bit of depth and colour to the background, high video quality, that stuff's important to me. But I know not everyone thinks like that. There are people who just do not care. They just like good information or helpful things, whereas I like stuff to be it all needs to look good. The sounds, you need to have a good microphone, you need to have a good camera, the lighting has to be good. Which is funny because, I just watched a video on Instagram there of a guy. This guy's daughter's putting up videos of this guy. He's retired. He's a retired maths teacher. And she's taking videos of him setting up these math lessons because he wanted to start a YouTube channel and do tutorials and stuff. And it totally took me back to 2017 when I was setting up the Monroe Method, or Monroe Fitness as it was called back then. The guy was in his living room. He had a whiteboard on top of his radiator. He had a little step ladder with his phone propped up, jammed between some books because he doesn't have a tripod or anything. I'm like, that was me. That was me in December 2017. I had created the entire written version of the Monroe Method, but I had not recorded a single video yet. And I put it off and put it off and put it off because I wasn't, that wasn't me back then. I wasn't the video guy. I wasn't the talking stories guy. I wasn't the talking to camera guy. I was just someone who posted pictures and graphics and things on Instagram. And honestly, when I think back to 2017, the amount of drawings that I used to draw on Instagram stories to explain concepts and things, because I hadn't yet got to that point. I remember writing a story. I was in the forklift in my old job, asking people, should I do some talking stories? Would you guys prefer to hear videos? Thinking of how nervous I was. And then I asked my wife to go out with her son. I think she was pregnant with her second at that time. She was. I was like, could you go out for the day with Jacob? Go visit your mum or something. I've got some videos to record. I went and got every lamp in the house, bedside lamps from the bedroom, living room lamps, phone propped up on whatever it was. I can't remember now. But I remember having all these lamps pointed at me from all different angles, trying not to get glare on the whiteboard, doing my welcome to the Monroe Method video, and oh my God, the amount of takes that took, the stress, the sweat. I drank alcohol back then. I'd even had a couple of gin and tonics to try and settle the nerves so I could get through this one bloody video that I had put off until it was like the 29th or 30th of December. Monroe Nutrition was going live on the 1st of January. And it was just one of those things where I left it last minute because I did not want to do it. And here we are. Expensive lights, expensive microphones, expensive cameras, and all these years later. So anyway, the point of that long story was the feedback I got is that the sound is brilliant, and you can even hear the motorway thing when I mentioned it when I got to it, which is even more reassuring. So I am more than happy to keep recording these episodes when I'm out a walk with the dogs in the morning, because I can churn these out no problem. Like I've said before, this is not at the top of my priority lists. It's more of a hobby, a fun extra thing I do, because we live in a world of short content. Everything's short. People have got such short attention spans. If you post something on social media, it cannot be long because nobody will watch it. And if nobody watches it, it doesn't get shown to anyone. And you're sitting creating this content, all that time, energy, and effort for it to get pushed to a couple of hundred people. So annoying. Sorry, you'll have heard that. That was a gate. So yeah, this is my space where I actually get the stuff that I want to say for 15, 20, 30 minutes out. And it's very niche, yes, because only a few hundred people come and listen to it, but It's worth doing, and if I can double it up with a dog walk, all the better. There is a weather warning for ice today because we had absolutely biblical rain last night. Then it stopped, then it went -1 or -2. So it's super slippy on the paths. Right. It's December. I am actually caught up with my episodes. What I normally do is I fall behind by 2 or 3 episodes, and then I upload them, and then I backdate them to the Friday that they're supposed to be done for. I'm actually ahead of schedule. This one's going out Friday coming. And I might even get to record 2. So let's talk about Christmas, shall we? Ooh, what will we do in this one? Let's do an exercise. So it's the start of December. We're entering the festive period. The most important thing right now is thinking ahead, right? And this will be an exercise that I'll be doing with my members inside Clan Monroe. I've actually got a live chat tonight. It's Wednesday, yeah. I'm doing this tonight. So this can be a practice run. So when it comes to, people worry a lot. Worry about gaining weight, worry about the scales. I need to hope that I don't do too much damage. I need to hope that I don't undo all my hard work. You don't need to hope fucking anything. What's hope got to do with it? If you eat and drink to excess, you will gain weight. And if you don't want to gain weight, then you should not want to eat and drink to excess. Like, there's no hope, there's no praying, there's no maybe I'll get away with it. It is very much like if this is how you act and behave, and these are your habits and these are your thoughts, and you're waking up every day and the first thing you're eating is chocolate and the first thing you're drinking is Baileys, you're going to gain weight. And you have to accept that. This all starts with the outcome. It doesn't start with how you approach Christmas. It doesn't start with the foods that you eat or the choices that you make. It all starts at the other end. It starts in January. Because January is the time that people will step on the scales and they will say, well, they'll either be super annoyed or depressed or angry or regretful or shameful. And all those other feelings that you experience when it comes to your weight, like, it all comes crashing down when you step on the scales, doesn't it? You get carried away in the festive season, you get carried away in the eating, you get carried away with the drinking. It becomes comfortable and normal. You look forward to getting up the next day, knowing that you don't have to go to work. You can have another day on the couch. The weather's horrible outside. You can catch up on those programs that you don't get to watch. You can nap. You can do whatever you want. But if what you want to do involves a lot of eating and involves a lot of drinking, then it's only going to end one way. It doesn't matter how much hoping or praying or... Like, I know how it works. You step on the scales, it gets to January. Now, listen, January's a weird one this year. Because so's December. Like, I'm taking a lot of time off this year purely because of the way that things land. Like, I'm finishing up on the 20th because that's a Friday. Saturday, Sunday, 21st, 22nd. I'm not going to be working on the 23rd, 24th, obviously. Obviously not the 24th, but I'm not going to come in on the 23rd. Come in, like I've got a place to go. But yeah, just because of the way the weekends land, like Christmas is in the middle of a week. New Year is in the middle of a week. The 1st of January is a Wednesday. Nobody's going to be starting their 2025 goals on a Wednesday. Because by the time you get to the 2nd and 3rd, it's the weekend again. Nobody's going to start that before the weekend. It's going to be the 6th, at least, the first Monday of January before people get going, I think. And that's fine. But coming back to the January thing, right? You get to January, whatever day it is that you decide, right, that's it. The Christmas eating stops, the Christmas drinking stops today, this is it. New year, new me, blah, blah, blah. And then you get the scales out. And you go to step in them. And you go through this big, elaborate conversation in your head. Okay, if it says 13.5, I'll be happy. I'll be happy because that's okay. I was 13 before Christmas. If it says 13.5, that's fine because I know I'll lose 3 of that in the first week. Then it's just a couple of pounds. And that's a bigger mistake you can make because you're placing an expectation on the scale. And it's like a made-up number. It's like picking the lottery numbers. Oh, hopefully 7 and 8 and 12 and 42 and 36 come out. Oh, if they come out, that'll be great. Yeah, it would be. How likely is it to happen? It's the same with the scales. Like, you place an expectation on it. Your disappointment does not come from the number you see. Your disappointment comes from the number you expect to see, and then how much beyond that the actual number is. That's where your disappointment comes from. You create your disappointment and the guilt and the shame and all that stuff because of your expectations. Never, ever place an expectation on the scale. We'll talk about the scales another day. Number one, don't make that mistake. Don't place any expectations on it. That will only make you feel worse. Step on them. It is what it is, and own it. But here's the thing. That's in the future, right? You're going to be listening to this. What's today? 4, 5, 6? Around the 6th, 7th, 8th of December, maybe. You've got the entire month ahead of you. Yes, you'll have started some Christmas shopping. You may have some festive foods in your house. But you may already have had your Christmas works night out because of the way that these things go. Maybe you had it in October. Maybe you have it in March. These things are weird. So, yeah, start at the very end. And it's the same for everything. You know, hopefully if you've listened to enough of these episodes, you'll understand that we always start at the end and work our way back, right? Your weight is not a problem. Weight gain is not a problem. Weight loss is not a problem. That's all at the end. It's an end result. Remember, your weight is the thing that comes after the equal sign, after a long, complex equation. So we start at the end. You step on the scales in January. What do you want to see? Do you want to see weight loss? Do you want to see weight maintenance? Remember, maintenance would be keeping your weight within a range of your current weight, not I'm going to be exactly the same as I was on the 1st of January as I was on the 10th of December. Do you want to see maintenance, rough maintenance? Or do you want to see weight gain? Now, your immediate reaction to that is, no, I don't want to see weight gain. But here's the problem. You don't want to see weight gain, but what you want to do is eat to excess, drink to excess. Start your day eating chocolate. Or crack open the Baileys at 8 o'clock in the morning. Like, you're going to want to do things that lead to something that you don't want to happen. And this is where things start to get a little bit tricky. So this is the exercise that I'll be doing tonight with my members. I do it quite a lot. It's a useful one in the summer. Cast your mind. It's the first day back after your holiday. You're reflecting on your holiday, blah, blah, blah. Let's apply it to now, right? So it's the whatever of January. You decide what date's your kind of start point. You've decided to brave the scales. You've stepped on them. What do you want to have happened? Do you want to have gained 10 pounds? Do you want your weight to still be within 3 or 4 pounds of where it was before? Or do you want your weight to be lower? Because you were very focused on your goals. You only really took the kind of 2 or 3 big days off. And it's pretty realistic to expect to have seen weight loss over this period. I've seen it from all angles. This will be Monroe Nutrition's 2018, New Year 2018. I can't really count that. I've only been through, 2018, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3. This will be the Monroe Method's 7th Christmas and New Year. Technically 8th New Year, but 7th full festive period, we'll say. So I have seen it from all angles. I have seen people distraught when it gets to January, filled with regret, question themselves, why did I do this again? Why did I do that? I've seen people who have lost weight through Christmas and New Year and had the best Christmas ever. Not because they lost weight, but because they acted completely differently. They chose to be a different person. They chose not to be that excessive person. And the result was their weight came down at the end. I've seen people maintain their weight beautifully throughout the festive period and have the best Christmas ever. So we start at the end and we ask the question, it's the same as any goal setting period. What is the outcome you desire? What's the desired outcome? So take a moment. Think about it. It's January. You've stepped on the scales. What do you want your desired outcome to be? Do you want to have seen the scales come down? Will you be more than happy to see your weight still within 3 to 5 pounds of where it was before Christmas? Or do you want to see it 10 to 14 pounds more than where it was at the start of December, right? Most people are not going to pick option C, but most people are going to live option C. And that's why this is a valuable exercise. So let's say, for most people, I'm going to say it will be B. There are many people who do want to continue to lose, and we work with them throughout December. If that's what they want to do, what they'll say is Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, those won't be fat loss days. They'll be maintenance days, maybe a little more extra days. And then after that, it'll be right back to normal. And that's great, because like 3 days out of a month is still 27, 28 days of progress made. So decide what you want the outcome to be. And now you need to start asking yourself some questions. So let's just go with the maintenance one, right? Most people would probably be very happy to go into January roughly, let's say within 3 to 5 pounds of the weight that they were when they came into December. Because that's better than what usually happens for most people, right? Stepping on the scales 10, 15 pounds higher. Of course, it's not all fat gain, but if you're gaining 10 to 15 pounds, a good portion of it will be. If you're coming in 3 to 5 pounds heavier, most of that's water and food weight, maybe 1 or 2 pounds of fat gain. Nothing to write home about. So, let's say you want to mostly maintain. How does that person act? So, if you were to be someone who would enter January with that desired outcome, bring it back to the Christmas period, how does that person, I was going to say conduct themselves, how does that person act? How does that person behave? What is that person doing each day? What are their eating habits like? What are their drinking habits like? And think about Christmases gone by. Think about the way that you've been in the past. So for me, like back when I drank alcohol, my festive period orientated around the 3 Bs. What were the 3 Bs? I can't remember. Beer and Baileys was 2 of them. I can't remember what the third one was. I used to call it the 3 Bs. Beer, Baileys, and I can't remember now. Never mind. But beer and Baileys, that was me. You know, as soon as you could in the morning, when it was realistic, like Boxing Day, 10 a.m, fuck it. Crack open a beer. It's Christmas. And that's fine. Till you get to January. Because the thing is, if you're someone who can comfortably crack open alcohol at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, then that's who you are. It's very similar to like a conversation I have that I've been having a lot recently with all the new people coming into the new Monroe Method process, is that like somebody's dietary fat. Remember, we spoke about fat in other episodes. Fat's very high in calories. Yes, we need it in the diet, but most people are consuming too much. And a lot of conversations I have with people is that your average looks good, but if that's your average, you're having days much higher than that. So the issue is you have the capacity to consume 1,000 calories of fat in a day. You know, there's a certain set of conditions that when they land just right, that's what you choose to do. Maybe it's your takeaway habits, maybe it's evening snacking habits, maybe you're using food as a coping mechanism. So the issue, even though it's not something that happens all the time, you've got the capacity to do it. Like, when it's justifiable, here is what I do. And that's where this alcohol thing comes into it, because if you are the type of person who, like, I used to be like this. See if I had, like, I used to go to football games. I used to be a big Celtic supporter back in the day until it just got too toxic and I bailed out. I used to be a big Celtic supporter. Used to go to a lot of football matches. Used to get up 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, especially when it was Old Firm games and the times were at like midday. You had to start drinking early. Having an excuse to drink at that time of the morning was fantastic. It wasn't acceptable most of the time, but having a reason to, it was brilliant. Like you jumped on that. What do you mean? What am I having a beer at this time for? I'm going to football. Or if you were going to like a festival, drinking first thing in the morning. And yeah, and that's what I used to be like, right? Many of you might not be like that, but you may also have things where you do use it as justification. So for example, Christmas, fuck it, it's Christmas. Of course I'm going to have chocolate for breakfast. If that's your mentality, then that's who you are all of the time. And that means that anytime an opportunity comes along where you can justify acting that way, you will act that way. And that's part of the reason that you struggle with your weight. because you look for excuses, you look for reasons, you look for justification. And it's no different to like people creating situations where they can order a takeaway. Oh, it's Friday, I'm going to have a takeaway. Oh, it's this, I'm going to do this. Oh, it's Christmas. Open the whatever. Open the Baileys. I know I keep coming back to Baileys. It's Christmas. Yeah, I'll have a Baileys. Is it 8 o'clock yet? Yeah, fuck it. So if you are that person, it doesn't matter that you're only doing it as a one-off. It doesn't matter, like the whole, oh, it's Christmas thing. That's the worst part of it. It's got nothing to do with it being Christmas and everything to do with the way that you think. I wait for specific points in the year so that I can justify drinking alcohol at 8 o'clock in the morning. I wait for specific points in the year so that I can justify eating a sharing bar of chocolate for breakfast. That's the problem. Because it's that underlying part of who you are. It's an underlying characteristic you have. That's the issue. And these are the things that we want to work on. This is what we do inside the Monroe Method. We understand where everyone's food attachments are. Like a lesson that we do on day 2 or 3, I get people to identify their food attachments, and it's right. Removing breakfast, lunch, and dinner from the equation, tell me every single opportunity you have in a day where you attach eating and or drinking to it. So every time I'm in the car, I eat the sweets that I have in the car door. Every time I have a cup of tea, I have 2 biscuits. Every time this happens, I do this. Every time I go to this place, I get this. Because these are the things that drives people's weight. You know, if we just had breakfast, lunch and dinner, your weight wouldn't go that high. People don't get to high levels of body weight just because they're eating 3 meals a day. It's all the extra eating that they're doing in between. So, anyway, Christmas. Christmas is one of those food attachment occasions. So we've started at the end. We've decided what we want the outcome to be. Now we're bringing it back. And I think I got to the point before I went off on a tangent there of think about Christmases gone by. Think about the person that you have been. Christmases gone by. Again, alcohol in the morning, chocolate for breakfast, cheese and crackers every night, wine with the cheese and crackers every night, right after dinner when you're already full, clearing every plate, overeating, etc. And then think about what the outcome of that has been, right? That's been the version of you that stepped on the scales and seen your weight 10, 15 pounds higher. That's the version of you that you've chosen to be, even though you knew you were going to be really upset in January, just doing all the same things. Why have I done this again? Why am I in this position again? You know, do you know what's so frustrating? Like, so many people have goals of losing a certain amount of weight, right? You could have 30 pounds to lose. And maybe you've struggled with it this year, and that's fine. Maybe you've not had the right help. Maybe you've been focusing on the wrong things. Maybe you've been focusing on trying to change your weight instead of changing as a person. It's not anything that can't be fixed. It's not anything that can't be helped. People think that because they've failed so many times with weight loss that their weight's just destined to be where it is. But the truth is, you keep focusing on the wrong things. You're doing it the wrong way. So it's not that you can't do it. It's just that you've got the wrong approach. And you keep trying with the wrong approach. Anyway, you might have 30 pounds to lose. And you think, at the start of December, right, do you know what? I'm just going to enjoy myself this Christmas, and in January, I'll lose that 30 pounds. Only when you get to January, it's not 30 pounds, it's now 45. And now you feel even worse, because last year you only had 30 pounds to lose. This year you've now got 45. And that just makes you feel even more down, and it's even more of a struggle to do it, because now you've got an even bigger mountain to climb, and now it's going to take even longer. So, use what you know from January gone by. Use what you know from January past. Multiple Januaries past. What has the outcome almost always been? The outcome has almost always been, I'm 5, 10, 15 pounds more, even heavier than I was in the start of December. Right, why has that happened? Well, it happens because I can't not buy all the festive goodies. If I see something with festive wrapping on it, I have to buy it. I feel like I'm missing out. I always eat when offered food. I don't want to be rude. I feel like I need to join in with everyone. I worry about what other people are thinking. We're going to talk about that next week. I And the thing is, it's the collection of eating. It's not just the eating that you're doing around other people or the eating that you're doing when you're out. You're also doing eating of your own. That's the problem. Like, yes, you're still having breakfast, you're still having lunch, you're still having dinner. But then you're also creating these other things where it's like, oh, but when I go here, I have to do this. And when I see that person, I have to do that. And like, I know I just had my dinner, but I just bumped into this friend. So now we're in here and we had a couple of drinks. Then we went and ordered all this stuff and blah, 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 blah. So this Christmas, like, it should not be one of restriction. And I want you to really understand this, right? The focus on Christmas is not to restrict yourself. It's to not overindulge. Remember, that's the problem. You're doing too much of something. So it's not that you have to restrict yourself. It's that you have to understand that the way that you do things is excessive. You're eating to excess. You're drinking to excess. Your idea of enjoyment is too closely linked to putting thousands of calories in your body. And the reason it feels restrictive is because you want to do this thing at this level. My hand's up high. You want to do this thing at this level, but this level is too much for your body, and it's what leads to the weight gain that you then get very upset about. And then if I say to you, okay, well, the focus should be to do less of that. Oh, but then I'll feel like I'm missing out. Well, what do you want? Do you want to not gain weight, or do you want to gain weight? And this is why we start at the end. Rather than I need to hold myself back. I need to not give in. I need to not give in to temptation. Forget all that shit. That doesn't work. That's what a restrictive Christmas is. I'm trying to hold myself back from doing things that I actually want to do. That's what restriction is. That's when people say, when somebody comes around with food and tries to hand you something, instead of saying no thank you and that's it, because you don't owe anyone an explanation as to why you're not going to put calories in your body on command, because you're not a fucking dog. You say, no thank you, I'm on a diet. No thank you, I'm trying to watch my waist. And when you say that, not only are you oversharing, giving stuff that you don't need to give, you're also saying something completely different. What you're saying is, yes, I would absolutely love to eat that chocolate or that mince pie or those extra crisps or that handful of nuts, but I'm trying to hold myself back from being the person I actually want to be. Even though that person would be at a weight I don't want to be, I still want to do the thing because I focus on all the wrong things when it comes to my weight. So, we start at the end and we decide what we want to be able to say in January. And then we bring it back. How would that person act? What choices would that person make? How much alcohol would that person drink? Would they clear every single plate of food, or would they stop eating when they start to feel full? Would they eat cheese and biscuits every night of the week, or would they save it up for a particular night that's special, like a movie night or something? Are they eating family sharing size bars of chocolate every day to get it all gone? Or are they opening one and taking 3, 4 or 5 squares out of it each night? And that way it can last forever. Are they using up all the festive foods because you can't have anything with festive marketing in the house, and using yourself as a food bin to get rid of that food? And that's all it is. It's identifying the outcome that you want in January, taking the time to think about what it will take to achieve that, the things that you've done in the past. And then again, it's no longer about restriction. It's, I want this to happen in January. Therefore, I want to move through December like this. I want to move, it's not, I don't want to overeat. I don't want to drink too much. I don't want to snack too much. It's not that. That's restrictive. That's I need to not do this. I need to hold myself back. It's I will choose to eat in a way that does not lead to excessive weight gain. Yes, ultimately, most people are going to gain weight, right? You have to be realistic about that. But how you move through December is a difference between the scales being 3 to 5 pounds higher or 10 to 15 pounds higher. Where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line of enjoyment? How many drinks does it take for you to enjoy yourself? How many packets of crisps does it take for you to enjoy yourself? How many bags of nuts or mince pies or ice cream or cheese and biscuits or wine or Baileys or whatever it is, how much of that do you need to get through for you to hit your enjoyment level? Do you even know what your enjoyment level is? Or have you just created this idea, this vision of life where eating and drinking to excess equals enjoyment? Therefore, if I do that, I must be enjoying myself. And you're not. You might enjoy it for a brief moment at the time when you're tasting the thing, but afterwards you feel like shit because you already know you're full. You already know you're putting food on top of food. You already know you felt queasy in the first place, but you just couldn't say no to those nuts or that chocolate. And now, because you feel bad about saying yes to those nuts and that chocolate, you've got to eat another piece because you need to make that bad feeling go away. Hopefully, I've spoken to a broad range of you listening to this, and you've been able to kind of relate to some of it. Because I've been there. I've been that person in the past who couldn't wait for Christmas to come around. Oh, fuck, I didn't talk about this either. Here's the other thing before I wrap this up. So, you know how people kind of flick into holiday mode when they go on holiday? We don't really see that inside the Monroe method. Yes, it still happens, especially when people are new. But if I've worked with someone from, let's just say January, right? Let's say that I work with someone from January to June next year for 6 months, and then they have a holiday in July. That person is highly likely to go on holiday, come back, and their weight's done nothing. They've had the best holiday of their life. They've been super proud of everything they've done. They didn't feel the need to eat and drink to excess. Now, the reason for that is it's kind of because of the way that we've adapted their thinking and worked on their mindset and all that stuff. But for me, it mostly comes down to the absence of restriction, right? What do most people do? Right? Most people will go into January with all these big ideas about losing weight. They'll last until the second or third week of January, and then they'll give up. And then it goes back to the usual year-long battle of gaining and losing and gaining and losing. And then what happens is they get a holiday booked, or they have a holiday booked, and they go, right, fuck, 8 weeks till holiday, I need to lose half a stone. Let's go find something stupid to do that doesn't do anything other than help me change a number on a scale. And they'll put themselves through an 8, 12, 16-week period of being super restrictive. I'm not allowed to have a social life. I'm not allowed to have wine. I'm not allowed to have takeaways. I'm not allowed to do this. And then they go on holiday, and it's that justification thing again. Holiday mode, like they're celebrating breaking free from the restriction. This is why people flick into holiday mode. Now let's bring that back to the festive season. If you're someone that isn't working with me right now, then you have probably went through the whole of this year battling with your weight, following restrictive approaches, counting points, counting sins, having to go off plan anytime you want to do something that doesn't fit in with your plan, battling to stay on track. And it doesn't matter how much weight you have or haven't lost, putting yourself through that mental restriction is fatiguing. When you look back on the year, what you'll think about is, God, I'm just so sick of dieting. I'm so sick of not being allowed this. I'm so sick of that. You'll convince yourself that you've been restrictive for the full 12 months when really it's been a few brief bouts throughout the year, but it doesn't change your recollection of it. It doesn't change the way that you think about it and remember it. So coming into the festive period, this is why a lot of people just, they'll get to a point in the month and they'll just go, fuck it, it's Christmas. And that's it. Every choice, every decision, every food, every snack, every drink, it's justified by, fuck it, it's Christmas. And it's that rebellion. It's that I don't need, when people say, I just want to enjoy myself, what they mean is, they don't mean they want to eat and drink to excess to enjoy themselves. What they mean is, they want to stop worrying about their weight. They want to stop thinking about dieting. That's what they mean. I just want to stop and enjoy myself. That's what they mean, right? It's getting that break, that mental break from the restriction that they've put themselves through for the last however many months. So, yeah, that was the last thing I spoke about. So another part of why people do the things they do during the festive period, it's actually something that builds up through most of the year. And it's why, again, it ties in very nicely with the thing I said about, sorry, I'm trying to I shouldn't tell you that. I'm not going to tell you that. Jesus Christ, I nearly gave something away then. Okay, I'll tell you, I just did a pee there. In the woods, sorry. And I talked all the way through it. I just couldn't put my buttons back up with one hand. Never mind. One of the few benefits of being a man. So, I do that often, by the way. I wake up in the morning and have a coffee and a couple of glasses of water. I'm going to need a pee on an hour's long walk. So yeah, it ties into that thing about if you are that person who looks for an excuse to do X, Y, and Z, you know, oh God, what are we doing? We're doing that tomorrow. Great, we can start drinking early. Oh, there's an excuse to have day drinking. There's an excuse to eat this at first thing in the morning. It's very similar with that. Like, oh, here's Christmas. Great, that's an excuse to do this. It's an excuse to do that thing that I've always wanted to do, but I always have to try and stop myself from doing because of my restrictive approach to my weight. So, I'm almost at the road and it's time to put the dog's collars on again. I was supposed to do 2 episodes walking around there, but instead you've got one, probably 30-minute one. Much longer than usual. But I hope there's been some value in it for you. I think for a lot of you there would have been a lot of value in it. But this is all about challenging your thoughts. So, just to recap, cast your mind into January. What do you want to be able to say? Not just about your weight, but about the Christmas period. Do you want to be able to say that you fully enjoyed it? I didn't tap into the whole 3 parts of enjoyment because I feel like I've spoke about that a few times in the last few episodes. But what is it going to take for you to be able to go into January and look back on the Christmas of 2024 and to be able to say that you enjoyed yourself, not just at the time, not just while you were drinking, not just while you were eating, but the ability to think back on the memory of the festive period and be completely or almost completely happy with every choice that you made, every decision that you made, all the snacks, all the food, all the drinks. What is it going to take for you to be able to say that? Once you find out what it takes, that's the person that you choose to be. Choose to be. Remember, not, I need to make sure I don't do this. I need to make sure I don't do that. I need to make sure that I'm not eating this. That's not it. That's the negative approach. That's the restrictive approach. It's here is the outcome I want to achieve. Therefore, here is the person that I want to be. Here are the decisions that I want to make. Because I want the outcome that lies on the other side of these decisions. Anyway, enough from me. Until next time.